Hi stamping friends, Melissa Kerman here with Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I sell all the products that I share in my videos. And today I'm featuring a Christmas card project made with the Making Christmas Bright stamp set and the Coordinating Christmas Bulb punch. And it's a really simple card, but there are a couple of little tips and tricks that I'm going to give you in this video that should help make it super easy. So the first being how I made my string that the bulbs are hanging on. So I used this framelit you see me holding here, which is part of the Seasonal Layers Thinlits. It's just a scallop die, and I've cut it at just the right spot on my cardstock to make it be a template for drawing the string that the bulbs are going to hang on. So I think I have the dimensions on there. It's 2 3/4 tall. So my template is actually started out as the same size piece of cardstock as my focal piece. And I created the template, of course, with the die. And then I'm just going to trace the middle 3 scallops using my Mary Merlot marker. And as you can see, I've gone over the line a few times, so sort of gone back and forth, so it's a nice solid line, but not too thick. Now this project was one of 3 projects offered as part of my holiday card Stamp-A-Stack, and it was offered as an in-person class as well as a class to go. People who got class to go kits also received a template like the one you saw here, so it would be super easy for them to make their um, string as I've shown you here today. So one of the other things I did on this is I used some rhinestones, and I colored 4 rhinestones using my bronze alcohol marker. And you can see there's a thin end and a thick end. And I'm going to use my thick end or my paintbrush end to color my rhinestones. I like to color them on the surface that they come on rather than on the card itself, just to make sure I don't end up getting any of that bronze alcohol marker on the cardstock. So after I've colored each of my rhinestones, I'm going to use my paper piercing tool to pick each one of them up and put them at the low point of each of the valleys, I guess, of the string, if you will. And then I'll punch out my ornaments from my Joyous Noel designer paper. And one of the cool things I did with this is I used a bunch of little itty bitty scraps that I had from another project that I'd done to punch out the ornaments. It was a really great use of scraps. Now I took each ornament, and in this case I just used one ornament repeatedly, and placed them where I wanted and put a small little pencil mark at the very bottom of the ornament. And this is going to serve as a guide, so I'll know where to stamp the image that looks like sort of the light coming off of the bulb. And I know you probably can't see it here, but I promise you that the pencil mark is there. So now I have used my embossing buddy so that my embossing powder doesn't stick where it doesn't belong, and I'm taking that little image from the Making Christmas Bright stamp set and stamping it so that the low point of the image is right where the pencil mark is. So now I'm just going to heat emboss those images in with my copper embossing powder. As soon as I'm done with my heat embossing, you're going to see me punching out the ornaments from the strips of Designer Series paper. And I did have some nice long strips, and you can see I'm kind of putting the punch in there, trying to find exactly the spot I might like to show a bunch of the copper elements on the designer paper. So those were long strips and really easy to use, but I also had some little itty bitty strips that I wanted to make use of. So I put a little bit of adhesive at the top of a piece of cardstock and just attached my little tiny pieces of designer paper, and then sort of used it as a handle to punch out some additional ornaments. You can see I just showed you that it wouldn't have fit in properly if I was trying to hold it with my fingers. So I needed more of a, like I said, a handle in order to be able to get to the spots I wanted to and get those copper elements punched out just the way I wanted them. Now I've put dimensionals on the back side of each of the ornaments, and I'm just going to place them so they fit just under the rhinestone and just above the stamped element, the copper embossed light, if you will, that's shining off the bulb at the bottom. And I'm just using a eraser to make sure that little pencil mark doesn't show. So all there is really left to do is the final assembly, and everything else is just attached with snail adhesive. I didn't use any dimensionals anywhere except for under the bulbs, which I've already done. So while I finish up, I just want to let you know that this bundle, the Making Christmas Bright bundle with the Making Christmas Bright stamp set and Christmas Bulb Builder Punch is going to no longer be available after January 2nd. Now the products themselves will be available as individual items, but you won't be able to get them as the bundle, which of course saves you 10%. So if you really like these two items, you may want to get them now instead of waiting. To learn more about these products, you may want to check out my blog post for this project. There is a link in the video description below, plus lots of other links to useful things on my website. So if you enjoyed this project today and the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I hope you have a great day and happy crafting.